Shardvixen here. Alright, so I'm not in the best lighted room for a vlog. Of course, I don't really have a best lighted room for a vlog. I redid my hair. You can't tell here. I'm sorry. It's a, well, maybe. It's a blue, purple, pink. I use aquamarine and a red pink mixture. And then the next time I do it again, I'll either go back to a pink or a different blue to go deeper. I don't know. Dark colors I don't like as much because they make you look older. That's what I've been told. Unless you're really pale. Anyway, so I'm sorry that there hasn't been, the vlogs have been kind of bouncy lately. Last week I had data use problems. But we're going to have that. It's all going to be solved in the next couple months. And I will have unlimited data, so there won't be an issue anymore. Because I'm a dummy and didn't know I didn't have data. So this is our topic vlog. If you're new to my channel, I do 4 types of vlogs. One is about me through my life and the things I like. The second one is questions that you, the watcher, can put down in my comments or go to my Discord or any of my social media and ask me a question. And if you have a YouTube channel or Instagram or something you want people to know about, I'll give you a shout out for it. You know, we'll exchange. And then I have the topic one, which is this one. And then I have one where I ramble, which I'm kind of doing right now, but not really. And that'll be next week. Rambling is just whatever's on my top I've been thinking about lately. So, look how long my hair is. That's pretty long, huh? Yeah. It was this long once before and then I chopped it all off. Because well, twice. Because I had to start a master's degree program, and I was kind of they didn't say it outright, but they kind of made it seem like it wasn't a very professional hairstyle. So I chopped it off and then let it grow out a little spiky and look like a, I don't know, kind of more professional short haircut, short boy haircut. I think it's called like a page. No, page is down here. I don't know what you call it. And then I grew it all out again. And then when I was looking for work, I chopped it all off and let it go back to normal color, which is kind of, you know, salt and pepper gray. More white. I'm trying to get this all white so that when I dye it, I won't have to bleach it. Alright, so that's it from weird stuff about me. The topic is children. Why to have them? Why not have them? Now, these are my opinions. And it has nothing to do with your choice in life. It's just something about me that I wanted to share. Because I think, first of all, human beings tell themselves what we call, in sociology, psychology, and human studies, as fictional myths. So we tell ourselves stories to give us purpose. In archaeology and anthropology, they think that that's what's different between us and animals. It used to be intelligence, but now they know that animals are intelligent. It used to be communication, but now they know that animals communicate, at least with each other. They probably try with us, but they don't. But so now it's the fictional stories. And the fictional stories we tell ourselves is that there are milestones that you have in life. Okay, so you're born and you get to be a baby for a little bit, and then you get to be a toddler. And your expectations, there are society expectations. What? Expectations on babies? Oh yeah, like babies that don't cry in restaurants, babies that don't cry in movie theaters, toddlers that know how to sit, you know, preschoolers you could take to restaurants that don't throw things and crawl on their table. Those are social expectations. So they also have social expectations in milestones. Milestones are, some of the milestones is being able to go to kindergarten when you're 5. Another milestone is graduating from high school. There are other little milestones depending on cultural differences throughout. But for the most part, that's the real start of adulthood, is the marking of graduating from high school and then picking something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. Now they keep going earlier and earlier with that. I mean, you could dream about it when I was in grade school, the things you wanted to be, but it was alright to dream about these outrageous things you wanted to be. Now everyone's so very into what do you want to do? And we want to gear your brain that way, when really you should let the brains just kind of be sponges and soak up everything and then let them. But we have this cutting edge and competition, and we don't want our kids to be left out. Okay? So, because of that, the millstones of adulthood is you graduated from high school, you pick something to do. You go to college, you get a job. Those are your two choices. You get married, you find the true love of your life, you get married, you have kids. Okay, and then you bring your kids up. In between that, you buy a house, you get a car, you go on vacations. All the things that we, in our fictional myth, believe are the things of life. Okay? But some people don't want to follow that millstone, or some people can't follow that millstone. And so things become a little more problematic for them. I'm not saying they're problematic overall, but just for them. I know a lot of people are very unhappy because they have this deep ache inside them, and they feel it's because they haven't fulfilled a milestone, whether it's to have that brand new car, so you're the envy of all your peers, or to have that spectacular job, so that you have some kind of social status, to have social status, and to have children, or have a wonderful mate. In the past, and in some places, it's still that ideal that it's heterosexual, man and wife, little house, 2.5 kids, I don't know what the half kid is. I think that's probably your dog or cat. But it's an average, because you can't average humans, but that's what people try to do. So one child is not really a child. Anyway, so we have these images that are fed to us both by our parents. Remember bubbles. We have a bubble around ourselves, right? So there's our bubble. Then there's the bubble that's family unit. So they give us ideas. So we have our own ideas. We get ideas. Then we have our neighborhood. We get ideas from that based on what we see, the people that our parents talk to, the people we talk to, our own peers that we talk to, who are also getting their stuff fed into them. And then we see further bigger bubbles, which is the idea of social media, regular media, the world itself, and the things again that are gearing in our heads and the meanings of that. So I'm going to start with why I had children, and then I'll talk about what I think about now, as in versus what it was when I first decided I wanted to have kids. All right, so when I was about 15, 16 years old, I decided I wanted to have children. I didn't want to get married, I knew that, but I wanted to have children. And the reason I wanted to have children was that was a time period that pretty much kind of, all of the abuse, all of the bullyism, all of the stuff that made my bubble weird and interesting, I guess, and sad and soulful, came to a head. My parents got a divorce, and all of a sudden I was no longer a child. I was this thing that was passed between, that they used to pass between insults. It was their way of communicating, and neither one of them really wanted me. At least that's not how they, from my lens, from my bubble, it seemed like they didn't really want me. Their actions and their words did not make me feel like I was loved and appreciated. I'm sure it was because, looking back at it as an adult and trying to be as forgiving as possible about things, to help me grow as a person, I'm sure that it was a very hard time for them. Because I've been in hard times like that, and it's sometimes hard to remember your children and things that need a little extra love when there's things going on. And neither of my parents were very good parents, so that kind of compounded this stuff. And at that time, I feel very, very much alone. I was very disconnected. I had connection up until that time with external families. I had lots of aunts. I had lots of uncles. I can talk about my uncles. All three of them are dead on my mom's side. And on my dad's side, I had an aunt. She's dead. So I had no real family roots. I had friends that I was allowed to. I had one or two friends that I could go and hang out with, that I was connected with, and I had boyfriends. But other than that, I didn't have, and when I say I have boyfriends, that's because I was moving through boyfriends. I had one set boyfriend for about 3 months who I ran away from the relationship because I felt like that we might, end up with children or being married too early, and I didn't want that. I had grandeur ideas of what I wanted to do. I didn't get there, but that's what I wanted to. That's why I never kind of connected into relationships. I always thought there was something better on the next fence. I felt sorry for those guys later on in life when I thought about it, but that's part of my mental health. There's always something better. I can't just but then I do. I just kind of become this dumpling. Anyway, that was a tangent. Let's get back to what we were talking about. So I wanted to have children, but I didn't necessarily want to be a teen mom. But I knew that in my mind's eye, I wanted to have children, so I started looking for a sperm donor. I wanted to be, about 18, I decided, excuse me, I've got the itchies today. About 18, I decided I want to be a single mom. For various reasons. My past doesn't have a lot of trusting with males, and I just felt that way I wouldn't have to, somebody wouldn't have to commit to me and I wouldn't have to commit to them. That's very naive thinking, I know, but that's how I thought at that time. And I had seen a lot of people raise children by themselves, so I didn't see as there a problem, and I knew a lot of feminists at the time that were raising their children by themselves. So about 18, that was the thing. And then around 18, 19, I met one of the first most impactful relationships that I had. And if you hear boys' voices in the background, that's why I'm up here. They're downstairs being loud and noisy, and I don't know yet till I play the recording back whether that's going to be a thing. So this person wanted to marry me, but I wanted to have children. And so the only reason I said I'd marry that person was so I could have children, and then that person dumped me. So it became this whole other thing going on. Because even though I wanted to have children, I thought it would be very unfair to take somebody's sperm and not let them have a connection to the children. I mean, I couldn't perceive that because I didn't think that that's okay. So at age of 27 years old, I had my first child. And then that was my daughter. And I became a single parent. And it was really, really hard because I'm a very busy person. And being a busy person and having children and having depression was a little more than I had anticipated. But I did as best I could. She's a really wonderful woman. So I'm sure I did pretty good. I will take to blame any of the little weirdnesses that she have is probably my fault due to my depression and mental health and the way that our household was raised. But she is a very forward-thinking kind of person, a good, as the world says, a good citizen. So that's the best I think a parent can do. And then when I was 30... Well, I had my next child when I was 39. Actually, I was 38. I became 39. That was kind of my cutoff date. I wasn't going to have children after I was 40 because a lot of research shows that women who have children after the age of 40 have a higher amount of autism and, of course, other types of birth defect. And it wasn't that I didn't want a child who had autism. I have a child who's borderline autistic. It's just that I felt that some of the other problems that you occur from decayed eggs, 40 is just a good cutoff date. I mean, you just pick a date, you don't have kids no more. Though I see people 50 and 60 having kids, so if I was healthier, I'd probably have one more. I like kids. And then, I have my grandson, so that's like having my own kid in a way, because he lives with me. Now, I love my children a lot. I love them beyond my own life. If someone said, I will spare your children if you give up your life, there would be no problem in that aspect. They would have to kill me, of course. I don't know that I could kill myself. I had, one attempt at suicide and learned the error of my ways. So I don't want to do that no more. But if I was to do my life differently, as we all speak, and this is not that I have regrets, I don't. But if I was to do my life differently, I think I would just adopt at this point. And my daughter always wanted to adopt, but when she told me that when she was very young that she wanted to adopt, I had this weird, I was caught up in the fictional story that you had to have children to be something in life. I now know that's not true. Though a lot of people live through their kids, and I get that. I think the one thing that always irritated me the most about having children and peers who have children is there's this weird competition always. I mean, when you meet people that you knew, you say, hey, hi, Charlie. Hey, hi, Grammy. And the first thing I so how's your kids? What are they doing? You know, like, you don't ask how they're doing. I mean, you might say, how are you doing? I'm great. And then immediately, and then it's not how they're doing. You give them this list of accomplishments since the last time you saw them. I've catch myself doing it all the time. And there are people that are bad at it. They'll just pull you in. They'll just be like, oh, Junior, you know, is now an astronaut, and he's about to discover Mars civilization, and he's the ambassador for the underwater aliens, and, you know, they just blah, 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 and you're like, there are times when all I want to say is, oh, and they'll say, after they're done pouring out this huge list of achievements by their children, and they're beaming at you, and they say to you, oh, and what's your daughter doing? I always want to say, oh, she's a crack whore who is running a mafia in Australia. That guy ends that whole conversation. And I'm mean and rotten. Because I don't think that I need to, I don't need what my kids are doing to give me worth. I have my own worth. I don't need their worth. So they have their own worth. But that's just, some people are very bad at that. So, I met a lady once. There was a lady and me used to go walking a lot when I could walk a lot more. And she had a dog. That's all she had. She had dogs. She read them. She had dogs. And I met another person. We were out walking, and this person I knew had these kids that they pushed to do the best they could. Came up to us and did that. Oh, hi, and then bleh, out all the kids' stuff. And then they looked at her and says, so do you have any children, and what do they do? And she goes, oh, well, my children ran 4 laps, and one is puking up, you know, bones they keep eating. And she went on this whole thing about her dogs and how great they were in championship. And the guy was like, no, he didn't find it fun. I found it funny, but they didn't find it funny. So if I was to go back in time, I would adopt children. I think the reason I had my own children was I was afraid they wouldn't let me adopt children because I was single for the time period. Now you would have a much better chance. You have a much better chance of adopting a child. They have so many of them that need homes that they can't be as picky as they would like to be. And I know a lot more about children and problems that children have, so I would probably be, you know, more apt to do that. But the question that I was thinking about was to have or have not children. And, you know, it used to be I'd meet people and I'd get to know them and I'd say, oh, have you ever thought about having children? And then realize that was a really sore point for a lot of people because there's a lot of reasons people don't have kids. Not even in the part that they can't have kids. There's just a lot of reasons people don't choose not to have children. They would rather have animals, or they would rather be single, or they think the world's a horrible place, or they... So now when people say to me, well, I'm not going to have kids, if they want to elaborate on it, that's fine. I don't really care anymore. I enjoy my children. If you want to know what they're doing, at any given time, I'll tell you what they're doing. They're both old enough now to tell you what they're doing. I don't think that I need my children to do spectacular things. I think it'd be fun to know that you had a child that was a musician, that was touring, you know, or an actor, or a writer, or a physicist, or a nuclear physicist, or a garbage truck person. I mean, there's so many things that people can do that I don't do that I just find interesting anyway. But family units themselves are very interesting as well. So, should you have children? I think it's a question people ask me. Should I have children? I think the thing that people fail to think about when they have kids is that they're just following the millstone. They got married, they had children. Maybe they had sex early and had children. Maybe they have a failed marriage and they're trying to, you know, maybe they are like me and they feel a disconnection and want a family unit. So should you or should you not have children is a question you must ask yourself, but you must take yourself out of that millstone concept that you have to have children before a certain age, or you're not a person. You're not a strong female if you don't have children. You're not propagating the world. We don't need to propagate the world anymore. I didn't never have children so I could pass on all that is me, because all that is me is not very good. I had children, like I said, because I wanted a connection. But I took the job very seriously. And I'm not sure that a lot of people consciously take the job very seriously. I think that sometimes they're just doing what they think they're supposed to be doing. And if given a choice, they probably wouldn't have done it, but that's not a choice they think about on a conscious level. But that's just me guessing. I'm not saying, I don't know. I mean, I've had conversations with people that said, you know, not that they don't love their children, but if they went back, they would like to do it a different way. And I think that's true of us all. I think that we'd like to see what the other side looks like, knowing that the pressures given to us in society are not something we have to have. Now, I might revisit this particular topic because I think it's a very interesting topic about why you should or shouldn't have children. I don't think that the reasons that we had children in the past really apply now. I mean, I don't think that we need to populate the world anymore. In fact, if anything, I think we need to not populate the world and take care of those that are already here. I mean, there are tons and tons of children. I also, and this one's a little longer, I'm sorry again. I also think that, I think about 30, I realized that we're all related. Okay, I was told blood is thicker than water, but I was told to me because I wasn't supposed to tell secrets that were in the family. I wasn't supposed to trust people outside of the world, outside of the household. So the only people I could trust were people that shared my blood. But technically, I view that we're all connected. We all share the same gene makeup. We all are, and if you look at some of the anthropology and archaeology stuff that they have now, they can show us all going back to common ancestors. So technically, everybody is your blood. And that, to me, means a lot. That means that any given person has the same connections as you. Now, biologically, what changes is the cultural aspect. So that might be another topic I look at, is the cultural connection and racial and ethnic and sexual connections that we have. Like, all women are connected, supposedly. I don't believe that, but, you know, there are people out there that do. So that's it. That's the end of this vlog. Next vlog will be rambling. I don't know. You know, can't tell you ahead of time what's going on with that. And I'll catch you guys all on the flip side. Peace. I'm out of here. Oh, sorry, my shoulder.